Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. I got a question for you. Is it hard to be a narcissist? Drop your answers in the comments. What do you think? Is it hard to be a narcissist? What are those answers? Yes, I'm going with yes it is, because it is. This, you can, from me of all people, I promise you, this is not a video meant to elicit or solicit sympathy. It simply is. Someone had mailed in a question. I take your questions very seriously, everyone. Someone mailed in a question saying, yo, the narcissist is making me miserable, but their life, living a life without being able to feel love, connection, or empathy, their life sounds awful. I'm here to tell you, yes, it is. I have worked with many narcissistic clients over the years and have known many narcissistic folks. And I must say, they struggled more with day-to-day life, despair, and human relationships than the narcissistically abused folks I have worked with. Think about it. Life rarely goes the way the narcissists want all the time. It just doesn't. Sometimes it would. Often it actually would. And on those days, the narcissistic person is on top of the world. But when it didn't, which it obviously always can't, the heaviness, the darkness, the rage, the incapacity to cope, they really felt that the world was in on a giant conspiracy to specifically make them miserable, that there was a target on their back, and life was oh so unfair to them. It felt almost delusional, and they really believe it. And imagine going through your life always needing validation. So let's say you sat down and did something and you were proud of it. You baked a cake, you weeded a garden, I don't know, you wrote a really good paper for work or for school, whatever, and you were proud of it. You might have liked praise, but you don't need someone to come around. Like I said, it would be nice, but a healthy person wouldn't wither to nothing and then become angry because no one was there to validate them. Narcissistic people are constantly uncomfortable when the world shows them that they aren't special, at least no more special than the rest of us. So when they have to wait in line or watch someone else get VIP treatment or get in trouble for breaking the law, it's a reminder that they aren't special. The rules do apply to them, and it feels awful for them. Life is chronically disappointing for a narcissistic person. Things like finding simple pleasures and simple joy, it's not easy for them. They need the big grandiose day. For them, every day has to be the Super Bowl or a Broadway show or a spectacular vacation. It can't be just sort of the simple joy of watching a hummingbird whiz by or a new daffodil pop open or the way rain feels on a warm day. None of those simple things. So there isn't even that opportunity for them to find small joys. And they often have contempt for people who do find those small joys. And unless you're a really fancy person, you aren't living large every day. Narcissists desperately want that, though. So their lives are spent in choking levels of envy about the many things that other people have that they do not have. And then, bless their hearts, the narcissists get old. We all do, right? And their bodies just aren't the same. Bellies appear, breasts sag, butts expand, and erections become fleeting. Our faces betray us. And while healthy folks see those wrinkles as an album of a life well lived, for the narcissist, a wrinkle on their face is a betrayal, and it feels awful. Gravity happens. So they get the work done on their faces and their bodies, or they work out a lot, and they get the clothes and anything else they can to cover it up. But the superficial stuff, whether we like it or not, we get old, it slips away, it goes. And since they judge folks on that superficial basis, they assume people are judging them that way as well, and they get real sad as they get old. But then to me, the hardest part is that they're not able to really, fully, deeply, unconditionally love. It is awful to feel contemptuous of human emotion and feel shame about their own vulnerability. Their sad need to control all of the reality in the relationship and not be able to hold space for another person and be present with their experience and share in it, that really sucks. Because they can't do this. They don't know how to receive it. And so to them, To a narcissistic person, the world is a really perilous place that can only be tamed through power, domination, and control. Your love isn't love to them. It's supply. When I think of the most striking narcissistic clients or people I have ever known, life was always hollow for them. I mean, unless they were having a cocaine-fueled night or a mega suite in Las Vegas or first-class tickets to Bali or their birthday party that is 100 people or they made $100,000 in a day. If it wasn't like that, it was a bad and empty day for them. They always felt people were out to get them or were judging them, so nobody could get close to them. Everyone felt like a threat, and they basically did the psychological equivalent of sleeping with a knife under their pillow. If you spend time with a narcissistic person and you focus on their grandiose and sunny days, it's really easy to believe that they're having a grand time, that it's not hard to be narcissistic. But walking around with that much shame in you is basically the equivalent of being bloated and really gassy, and it just feels awful until you pass the gas. And once they pass the gas, that's kind of gross for other people. I know that's a disgusting metaphor, but it really fits. That shame in them is just like undigested fast food swimming around in their gut. You wouldn't feel good either. You think, it can't be hard to be a narcissist, because to be a narcissist, it seems like they always win. They get the new partner who's younger than them, they get the money, they get the big house, they get the promotion, and you know what? You think like, those things might make me happy, but not them. The problem is they need those things. So it's not just want, it's need. So those things don't feel good to them. They feel essential. For the rest of us, if we got some extra money in our pocket, we're just a little happy and grateful. We may like having that extra money or even want that extra money, but healthy folks, having health, for healthy people, having health and a sense of well-being and close, loving relationships, that's the need. A new car, that's nice, but it's never a replacement for a compassionate and loving person in our life. When people love narcissistic people, and all of us do, and we don't get that love back, we feel anger. And that makes sense. Or we blame ourselves. That part's not good. People in these relationships want justice, because it often feels like the narcissists win, we lose, we grieve. But remember, the narcissistic folks always have that shame backing up in their gut, that constant lack of safety, that unsettled sense that someone always has it better than them. They stare at their social media feeds, at all the lives out there that are better than theirs, and they want to scream. I think that's a hard way to live. It seems like they won, but they didn't. They may not be able to articulate it or get it, but being narcissistic is really just like always feeling a little bit off. And they take that feeling and they project that feeling off onto other people. This personality style feels awful. I know, I'm sure there's narcissistic people out there watching this video thinking, I'm wrong about this. That's okay, that's fine. But I gotta tell you, that's not what I've observed or heard from the narcissistic folks around me. As I thought about this video, I thought about the narcissists in my life that I saw up close and personal. Once people got to know them, either the narcissist or the other person walked away. They don't tend to keep people in their lives in a meaningful way for long. They are always worried that someone is going to take their stuff. They are disappointed in everyone they meet. They complain all the time. They sneer at people's silly jokes or simple pleasures. They mock people's vulnerabilities. I gotta tell you, it is hard to be them. I was recently taking stock of a few narcissistic people who were in my life, and the only feeling that took me over was pity. It's like I was at the most beautiful, colorful garden in the world, and it smells and looks beautiful, and they were only able to see it in gray. They couldn't comprehend the love that was given to them, and they had sneering contempt for everyone. It's miserable. The narcissistic people lose out on the best people, and they end up surrounding themselves with enablers and fools. Do narcissistic people know it's hard to be narcissistic? Not in a clear way. They may not even know that they're narcissistic, so there's no line being connected there. They externalize blame on everyone, so they really see that any discomfort they're experiencing is the fault of a world that is unfair and has stupid rules and has stupid people in it, and it's everyone else's fault. So there's no sense that it's bad to be them. But they really are at the whims of a whimmy world that can give you a good day at 9 a.m. and take it away by noon. And those feel like different days to them. And because they don't comprehend their internal worlds, they don't try to address them and learn that this thing called life is actually a gift, and it's interesting, and it's compelling. And if you have a few good people you love in it, it's really quite joyful. It sucks to be them and not see that. They miss out on so much beauty, and yes, they break our hearts and trash our souls. But we get to have the pleasure in our lives of compassion and intimacy and empathy and simple joy. I ask you, who would you rather be? They may sometimes have more money and power, but we, if we're healthy, get the good stuff. Thanks again.